BYJU'S. The latest that we know coming from BYJU'S table is that on that very crucial plea by investors seeking a stay on the rights issues of BYJU'S, it looks like BYJU'S has got some relief. NCLT has voted in favor of BYJU'S, given it some time to submit its written, its written reply. And thereafter, perhaps, which we will know whether that rights issue can go ahead or not.
Right. The $200 million rights issue can go ahead technically. The question now is that whether the proceeds of what will happen to the proceeds of that rights issue, because rights issue wraps up on the 28th of February, Shweta, that is today. The investors who collectively hold over 25% stake in BYJU'S are the ones who have taken the matter to the National Company Law Tribunal. National Company Law Tribunal said you can't stay the rights issue, but what to do with the proceeds of the rights issue, that is something that we'll have to see. The group of 4 investors, let me recount them: Process, General Atlantic, Sofina, and Peak XV, and they have the support of other investors including Tiger Global and Owl Ventures, who are also investors in BYJU'S. Their contention is this, that they had absolutely no information regarding this rights issue. They weren't consulted about this. They've already been asking for the ouster of the BYJU'S management, including founder and CEO Byju Raveendran, and the reconstitution of the board, the reconstitution of the top management of the company. So they've been saying all of this because of the multiple issues that BYJU'S have been facing, from financial mismanagement to corporate governance issues to all that that's facing BYJU'S. And their concern is this rights issue is technically happening at which lets go of 99% of the original valuation of the company. This brings it down to $1 billion, which used to be the company that used to be valued at over $22 billion. This rights issue values BYJU'S at just about $1 billion or even less. So their contention is, how are you even going ahead with it? This means that this is a disaster for the value of our investment in BYJU'S, Shweta.
Absolutely. So now investors at the moment want to stay. NCLT has given relief. At least the rights issue can go ahead, but that crucial EGM will decide the fate for BYJU'S, because that EGM will also decide on whether investors will be taken into account and their views on downgrading that valuation from 22 to $1 billion.
Right, and that extraordinary general meeting last time around was, of course, when it was supposed to be called, which was last week. It did not happen because Byju Raveendran and the board.
It did happen in absence of Byju Raveendran.
Exactly. It didn't happen. What I went to say is that, as we've been always discussing, that the Byju Raveendran and family, who technically form the board of BYJU'S right now, which is Byju Raveendran, his wife Divya Gokulnath, and his brother Riju Ravindran, all 3 of them chose to give that meeting a miss, which gives that much more time for Byju Raveendran to fight this matter. In fact, he's accusing all these investors of something called as quote-unquote forum shopping, going from forum to raise issues just because they can raise these issues. And yes, Byju Raveendran, we thought by last week could have been ousted because of the extraordinary general meeting. But then again, the kind of voting rights that the board has, the kind of voting rights that has with these investors who don't yet have more than 50% to vote out Byju Raveendran and his family from the board, which all of this means that Byju Raveendran and family still have time to fight this out, and we'll have to see what happens with the proceeds of this rights issue as well, which gives them that much more cash to continue the company to pay off things that they need to pay off. So right now, although all these investors are big names on board, they still don't have the quorum to oust Byju Raveendran and family, Byju Raveendran from the leadership of the company, and Byju Ravindran's family from the board as well, Shweta.
All right. So rights issue, of course, is one of the issues that Byju Raveendran is faced with at the moment. The other, of course, is, as you rightly mentioned, is the fact that investors are also challenging his leadership and the leadership of his family members in the board. Now, of course, that EGM went ahead, 60% of whom voted in favor of ouster of BYJU'S, but that resolution cannot be implemented owing to a Karnataka High Court order which has sought a stay on whatever resolution that comes out of that EGM. A next hearing is slated for 12th of March, post which perhaps we will know whether there will be change of guard at BYJU'S.
Absolutely, spot on over there. That is because, of course, Byju Raveendran took the matter to the Karnataka High Court, and Karnataka High Court gave him that reprieve, saying the fact that whatever happens at this AGM, we will have to have a hearing on the matter on the 12th of March. And post that, there has to be another, and depending upon what the Karnataka High Court says, there has to be another extraordinary general meeting where we'll have to see if this set of investors, who technically have 25 to 30% stake can gather up more investors to come along with them and prove the fact that more than 50% of the stakeholders in Byju's want Byju Raveendran out of the company, want Byju Raveendran and family out of the board of the company. So for that to happen, we will have to wait till the 12th of March, and even post the 12th of March, you really have to see how many, like right now, you have these 25% which is Process and Peak XV and so on, and you have Tiger Global and Owl Ventures also. Can they get more investors in Byju's? Can we get 51% plus stakeholders in Byju's come together to take action against Byju Raveendran and family? Then that will be, that will be a telling blow to Byju Raveendran and family.
They have already done so in the last EGM, although the resolution is not binding.
Right.
But can they do it once again? Can they replicate that sort of, momentum? Can they get people to vote against Byju Raveendran? I think we'll have to wait and watch out for that. All of this comes amid the fact that Byju's is already battling money siphoning off charges. Now, ED is investigating that money laundering charges, but in a latest that we know, in the past 24 hours, investors are now saying that Byju Raveendran and family siphoned off $533 million.
Right, and that ED, in fact, has issued a lookout circular for Byju Raveendran and family as well. So, which means that this is probably the biggest, most damning thing that is going on against Byju Raveendran, no less than the Enforcement Directorate probing into siphoning of funds. I mean, that never sounds good for a company that is known for splurging so much. You're talking about an endorsement deal with Lionel Messi at the peak of their messy financial situation, which did not go down well with anybody looking at it, and also the fact that now they're, we've heard everything from Byju Raveendran pledging his own homes to pay off salaries to evacuating their biggest office space in Bengaluru. So when you are doing all of this because of lack of funds, if there is going to be, allegations of siphoning of money against you, that doesn't speak well of Byju Raveendran. That doesn't, it's not going to help his case at all at this stage. At
all. It's not helping. It doesn't look like it's helping. But what we do know, of course, is that investors at the moment, at least those holding over 25% stake in the company, are up in arms against Byju Raveendran. They want him to go away. They want his ouster. In fact, the EGM that was held last week, amid all the chaos and mayhem, has voted to oust Byju Raveendran. Now, that voting, that resolution is non-binding on Byju Raveendran and family because they've got a temporary reprieve from Karnataka High Court. Byju Raveendran fighting multiple battles, a multi-pronged approach that he's taking to the multiple battles that he's fighting simultaneously. Whether he will stay on, whether he will go away, we will of course have to see to that.